Welcome to Vix Mix, episode 10. No video this episode. That was a conscious decision. I'm drinking a very large Diet Dr. Pepper, and I didn't care to share that visual with you. I think moving forward, I'm not sure if I'm going to have video or not. This is about the music, It's not about the image. Speaking of music, I'm starting a new song today, although it's probably the oldest song on this darn thing, right? I'm making a 9 to 10 track album. Here's the T listing. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 10 tracks. We're going to do this one, Car. It is old. I came up with the main riff. I'll start playing it and just talk over it. I was showing this to my roommate, Luke, who's a mixer as well. And he's like, you gotta start playing the song sooner. And I was like, I agree with you, and I'm going to do that as soon as I finish this sentence, which does have a couple of positives and a small breakdown, followed by an M dash. But wait, there, you get the idea. This is an old song. This riff right here, I remember writing this on like a mandolin like 10 years ago. And having a vague melody with it, but the lyrics didn't come till much later.
Give me a break, it's not some mistake. God, you were such a pretender.
But these lyrics are newer.
A joke to make this go away.
Written to fit the album.
But I promise you this, it's not just a kiss. We are most certainly over. I hope you enjoy all the rest of your life.
I mean, now it's a breakup song, basically.
Tear down the walls, drag down the halls, throw all the posters away now. Think of the ways I can use all my time. Yeah, I'm looking good, thinking I should break all the windows I walk by. Capture the spirit of living alone.
And the chorus. Drums come in during the chorus thingies. That's a genre, right?
I gave it a month, that's not enough. If I don't go now,
I love that Josh is coming in on the 4.
You have your friends, you can stay within town.
Josh is the drummer, people.
You can see the coffee is free. By the time the conference is over, start to wake up without any sleep. And you are all I ever had to say. And even now, I crawl inside the letters of your name. You want me now to listen, but ignore the things you do. You laugh until the faces both turn blue.
Right, I don't know what this part is. It's a bridge. I know what it is.
Strangest things ever meant to be. Well, all I want to do is call you. Left my mind.
intro piano time. It goes on for a while. I'm aware of that. Oh boy. So that's Car. I think it's called Car Real because I've made several one of these Logic tracks. I mean, if you create things on the computer, you know the file names are an art unto themselves. They're a way to kind of communicate with your past and future selves, which version is which. I'm proud of this one. I think this is a strong song. And what I'm going for is I want to try to stay out of my way. I want to avoid a bunch of effects. You'll see there's only one green thing, and you'll know that the green stuff is electronic instruments, instruments that you add via Logic by your computer keyboard. Or other means. Everything else has been, recorded in a room with a microphone. And that room vibe is important to me. I think this song functions very well when we play it live. It doesn't need a lot of things. One thing it has right now that doesn't happen live, because we're a three-piece, is that there is an acoustic and a piano part. If we just zoom in on that. The piano track is of course called Ribbon Guitar, which I think should be the double piano. Yeah, that's right, there's a double piano. So this interplay here. That never happens when we play it live. Soon it will be. We're trying to add a piano player, but right now it's the only thing in this song that people don't hear when they see us live is the piano. So trying to stay out of my way. Well, let's get to the elephant in the room. If I'm trying to stay out of my own way, why is the piano part affected? There's an effect on there, a pretty strong effect. That's giving it that warble. I'm trying to lessen that. One of the things I like about this stereo spread is that it literally spreads the sound to both ears. It's literally a stereo spread. Unless you record something with two microphones, it's going to be, a mono sound. That is just one ear. And you can always spread the mono sound to both ears, but the stereo spread is something unique where it takes the sound wave and every, don't let me tell you. So every certain hertz, it pushes the sound into your left ear, and then after the next hertz, it pushes it to your right ear. And that's kind of what gives it that warble. So if I dial back that warble, I wish I knew more. I really want to be able to tell you specific technical info during this. I feel like that's the only way that this whole VIX Mix thing would be worthwhile. But I can't because I don't know. I just twiddle, and then I listen to what it sounds like after I twiddle. That's the reason why I've written 2 albums in 5 years. Now it sounds a little more like a honky tonk. So now we're sort of in the realm of reality. And I'm just focusing on what the piano sounds like here. Let me go to where there's just only one piano track. Yeah, it comes in right here. See how this sounds.
Tear down the walls, drag down the halls, throw all the posters away now. Think of the ways I can use all my time.
It is subtle. It's a subtle piano, and you'll notice that I panned it. Now, typically, this piano right here, both these pianos, this is my keyboard. This is my, cheap Roland keyboard. This is not an actual piano. Surprise, surprise. Usually when I DI my keyboard, I run it through a plugin from this little drawer. I think they're in the Studio Instruments. Yeah, they add these. But for some reason I didn't do that. I know I'm speaking about myself like I'm some stranger, but I did a lot of this tracking in December, and it's now March, late March. Wondering why I did not put a plugin on there. I do want to save this spreader, so what I'm going to do is going to save these settings. Let's see, piano spreader, looking good. All right, I've saved those, and now I'm just going to plop a piano plugin on here and see what happens. Not upper, I think they mean like upper keys. I'm actually kind of playing a lower register. And notice that what's really changing here is the part of the set is the EQ, and you'll see that for piano lower, all the low end is maintained, but for the upper, they sort of tone it down. They do a little bypass.
Tear down the walls, drag down the halls, throw all the posters away now. Think of the ways I can use all my time.
So that little honky-tonk feel is gone without the stereo spreader. It's not going to exist. It is kind of silly for me to use a stereo spreader when I'm trying to pan the piano. And I know you people can't really hear the panning because of the way this QuickTime screen record works. Oh, if only you could, the song would really click.
Tear down the walls, drag down the halls, throw all the posters away now. Think of the ways I can use all my time.
I like the spreader. It just adds a little bit of funkiness. What if I kept the plugin but then plop my spreader on there?
Yeah, I'm looking good, thinking I should.
You know, it just keeps it foggy enough where I'm interested.
Capture the spirit of living alone. You were all I ever had to say. And even now I call.
And for whatever reason, I did not record this. This higher register is just a separate track entirely. A testament to my ability to play more than two things at the same time on the piano. So why don't we just follow suit and put the piano upper, and then we'll also have that spreader on there.
You were all I ever had to say. And even now I call inside the letters of your name. You want me now to listen but ignore the thing.
I like that. That's good.
You still get to see.
It's quiet, but the piano is not really the main attraction at any rate.
Start to wake up without any sleep.
thought this line was being doubled.
Strangest thing
I do like that line.
ever meant to me. Well, all I want to do is call you. Left my mind.
Piano is very loud right here. Have to automate that son of a gun. From a arrangement standpoint, or I guess more of a structure standpoint, there's a lot happening in this song because we sort of do a key change into that kind of murky bridge part right here.
I don't go now.
Not here. Song goes from a D to a B as in boy major. And then we sort of cut this sequence off, right? We take a bite out of it, as I love to say, and go back to the chorus, which fits into the D key.
Left my mind.
All this to say, it's an important piano part because it brings us confidently back to that new key, but not so important where it can be jarringly loud. I'm this close to calling this whole album something related to jarring, because it's the word of the day every time I mix. I don't want things to be jarring, unless they're aesthetically jarring, but in which case they're not really jarring.
Left my mind.
It's funny too, with an instrument like a piano, the quieter it is, the more powerful it can be, because the way the piano is played, notes sound differently if you're hitting the key harder. And you know, I'm playing this on a digital keyboard, but it emulates that. You know, if you play the key extremely soft, it just sounds different. It sounds muffled, or it sounds kind of like a whisper. And then if you strike the key hard, the hammer strikes the string and it rings out full. But what's curious is when you hit the key hard, but then you lower the volume after the fact, so you get that huge ring out sound, but it's not as loud as when you're hitting it quietly. It creates like this effect that the piano is far away, but you know, still very mighty. And for whatever reason, it's pleasing right here, and not pleasing when it's how it should be if the volume was appropriate. Now, when we play this song live, I do hop on the piano and play this outro, which does give me the idea to maybe put acoustic back in. I could maybe play with that real quick. Now I could re-record an acoustic part, or I could borrow an acoustic part that I've already recorded. What's going on here? Perfect, that's exactly what I need. Let's just see what this would sound like if it came back in. And we might need a fade it in, but let's see. I like it, the guitar, because I'm not a very good guitar player, it's hitting this like sixth, I'm playing a B, bum, 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 but the piano's playing a seventh, bum, bum, so the guitar's going da, but the piano's going da, which is a half note interval, and the piano I usually play all this crud I'm talking about is not currently plugged in. So does this help? Does that help make you understand? My point is this. I'm a frickin' genius. All these ideas are great. Alright, let's fade that in. Oh, yes, do it for both. Thank you so much. Of course, I'm gonna have to. Wait, don't do that. Anderton, wait. Anderton, wait. Let's make this a little longer. By the way, if you know what Anderton Wait is from, I like you a lot. Okay, we can stop it right there. That could be interesting. I'm tempted to just like super fade it in, not just have it that small fade, but have it like really kind of fade in. But the trouble with that is it really takes you out of the idea the song is being played live in a room, because you can't actually fade in an instrument that slowly, you know, as percussive as an acoustic, unless you like went down the hallway and walked out. Yeah, not great. There's another fix though. Cause see, I mean, look at the sound wave. You can tell that first hit, very gnarly. Look, it's a fat wave, and then nothing else comes close to that. So what if I just take the time where I hit it much more calm. See if that does anything. Throw a pepper over this. Yeah, right? Now it's even more interesting that we could do while we are manufacturing parts is I could take that murky piano line, because this is basically I'm reprising the bridge, you know, the one in B major. You remember that? So this little keyboard part here could totally fit. Get kind of awkwardly cut in half there, isn't it? Hi, I'm back. Hi, I'm back. Good stuff. Okay, let's try this again. So we'll take this little riff. Boy, there's not a single great sequential take of that. And I'm going to have to disappear again while I flatten and merge this SOB. Catch you on the flip-flop. Oh, maybe not. That's fun. Did a long goodbye. Oh yeah, let's see. I also heard a little bit of a blip blap here, so we'll have to fix that. Excellent day. So let's take this right here and here, and we'll have that go maybe right when the guitars come in, maybe a second earlier. We'll see if this even meshes. When I think of like piano on piano, one of my favorite songs is I'm Trying to Break Your Heart by Wilco. It has two pianos playing two separate piano lines at the same time, and you don't question it. So what I'm saying is, I am trying to break your heart. All right, let's see if this works at all. Or it just sounds like piano on piano. Not bad. I think it might be wiser to have it come in with the acoustic, and don't be super cute with the layering. That's my 2 cents. Ooh. So the reason why all this shenanigans was happening was that when I was copying this over, it must have also been doing that from when I copied it. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'd prefer if you didn't stare at me like that. Let's see. Where the flip am I? I am right here. Okay, I just wanted to make sure this was the same volume throughout, because when I pasted it over here, there's all sorts of weirdness happening. I think that's all right. I kind of like how stuff gets layered in. And I'm adding stuff. I know. I'm adding stuff. I should be focusing more on take a thing away. I just really think about taking my swigs when I'm listening and not right when I'm trying to talk to you. I'm trying to talk to you. I do think that was an improvement. Okay, I'm liking everything so far. Now, what do we think about the drums kind of clanking in when they do? Does it mesh? Does the bass mesh? I don't know. You'll notice that I totally muted the bass DI, the direct input track, and all we're getting is the bass amp, which it looks like I ran through. I did. I ran through, get up here so we can see the trouble you're in. Ran the bass amp through an amp. Always a curious decision when I do that. Kind of want to take all that stuff off. Because remember, the bass is already going through an amp. In real life, right? Scott's bass is going through an amp. we mic the amp, and now I'm taking what's being mic'd and running it through a digital amp. It's not a smart idea, so why don't I take everything off? And let's just listen to that raw.
Rest of your
Just a little bit of that. There we go. A little bit of a screech happening. Can I look at this? Yes, I can. Look at that. That's fun. So remember, when you take the high end off a bass, it really turns it into a rhythm instrument because the human ear has a hard time hearing what notes the bass is actually playing. But I'm okay with that because this is not a terrifically complicated bass part. Maybe I should leave that where it was. I think I took a lot of heft away from that. I did, because he does this really cool thing where it goes like bleep, 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 which I like. But while we're farting around, I'm going to keep him. I'm going to open up the DI. Why did I mute this SOB? We could run this guy through what I did for Gimme, if you remember that episode. Stirring episode. I ran that through Pick Brightener, which does give it that ugly hiss, doesn't it?
capture the spirit.
Yeah, I'm not loving that hiss, that's for sure. Not loving that hiss. We can get rid of the hiss, but the problem is the hiss lives on the high end, and that sort of negates what we're doing anyway. Curious. What if we try Rehearsal Room? I like the sound of that. Oh, that's what I put on the bass amp. But I'm doing it on the DI, which makes more sense. Remember, the DI is just strictly the signal coming from the bass guitar, straight to the computer. It's not going through an amp. Getting that hiss again, though. That's unfortunate that both of our bass tracks look like they are being fairly hissy.
Can use all my time.
Yeah, and something you can definitely hear in the mix. I mean, we can kill it, but
Living alone all the rest of your life. Tear down the walls, drag down the halls, throw all the posters.
now we could do the amp and DI together. That definitely jives with my more is more approach.
I hope you enjoy all the rest of your life. Tear down the walls, drag down the halls, throw all the posters away now.
I mean, it's not super complicated. I suspect that this is slightly too bassy. And it sounds like there's some cricks and cracks. Is that me? That might just be me. No, maybe that's why I muted the DI. There's cricks and cracks on it. Yeah, that's why I had it muted. This reminds me of when people like use a pen that's dried out and they just kind of put the lid back on it and set it down. They're like, well, that pen's no good. No, if it's no good, you need to let other people know. Either throw it away or you tell them that there's some clicks and clacks on this one. Come on, people. We do have other takes. We recorded 2 takes. So maybe take 1 is less clicky and less clacky. I don't know. Looks like I'm taking take 1. That's the clicky one. We take 2 is less clicky.
I hope you enjoy.
I don't hear no clicks or clacks.
Capture the spirit of living alone.
That's curious. That would be very wacky to have my DI bass and my amp bass sort of playing the same thing, but technically they're not, because this is from take one, the first time we recorded, and this is from take two. That could just be wacky enough to work. No upside, but potentially no downside either. Beautiful. Alright, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw the basic plugins for bass, snare, and overheads, and then I think I'm going to hop off. We did quite a number of wonderful things today, which, if you remember episode 9, last episode, the Raiders of the Lost Ark episode, so named because we did absolutely nothing and people's faces still melted, which unfortunately has a positive connotation in the music world, but I mean it in the negative Nazi way. Yeah, I didn't like that episode. It had nothing to do with the fact that it was an episode. I just don't like it when I sit down to work on stuff and, you know, I just make everything worse. I don't mean that like in a woe is me nihilistic way. You know, like, oh, all I do is make things worse. No, like legitimately, I just I had 4 ideas, and you know, quantitatively, all 4 were not good. Now, who knows? I may have had a 5th idea that was great, but the numbers weren't with me that day. But I feel like we're actually doing some good here. Word is, I'm doing some good. I'm just clicking at random now, aren't I? I'm not super concerned with the drum plugins because they are fairly low key. They're not doing a whole lot of wacky things. But we will listen to the drums after this just to make sure. I like my naturals. This, if ever there was an au natural sort of vibe, this would be the song. You can tell, I mean, the songs that go over really well live, you need to be aware of those. Songs that go over well live obviously don't need a whole lot when you're trying to record and mix them for a release. This should be obvious. I think it might be. Alright, did that do anything? Fantastic. Didn't hear much of a difference, but that's better than making it worse. So this is Car. We did a number of beautiful things. Oh, this is probably a good time to leave because it sounds like my roommate is on fire. Alright, I just want to see how long this clunker is. So it starts at 15 seconds and it ends at... That's a little long. That is a little long. 5 minutes is long. I just want to make sure that I don't have too many 5-minute long songs. Alright, tomorrow I probably will tackle this one again. We'll do some finishing touches on it. But I feel good about this. And so should you. You were a big help today.